Hello and welcome back to the Black Psych MP. I have a really exciting video for you guys today. In this video, I wanted to talk about my experience as a nurse practitioner in a correction setting. So I want to talk about my first job, and I also want to talk to you guys about the transition from graduating and from going from a student into a professional nurse practitioner. And also, I just wanted to give you guys just a little bit of like a few nuggets and knowledge of what to expect and how to most be successful when you're starting to negotiate your income and things for your new position. So, why don't we get started? So, first, let's talk about the transition from life after graduation. So it was a really exciting time. I had, a lot of nerves. I was very excited after I passed my ANCC. So I got my ANCC certificate there, and I got my diploma there, and then my license is there. So after I had all of my professional documents up and ready to go, it was off to the races. I was applying for jobs, many jobs. I mean, countless jobs. So many that I even lost count. And I did get multiple offers, which was nice. It's always good when you can have multiple opportunities. That way you feel that you can accept the one that's going to work best for you and your needs and your family. And so I had a position. I had to pick between either an outpatient clinic where I would build my own practice and it would take time for me to actually start making income because I had no clientele yet, or I had the option of accepting a position in the corrections facility where I was given a salary and I was making money from the first day. So I decided to go with a position in corrections, and I worked there for quite some time. And so I want to just tell you about what it was like to work in a prison as a psychiatric nurse practitioner and being pregnant, because I also became pregnant at that same time. So it was a very interesting, very insightful, exciting time for me when I accepted that position. So my initial impression of when I accepted the position, I was just so excited because I wanted to get to helping people. My mission of being a psychiatric nurse practitioner in the beginning was to help to get clients to the help that they needed. And in regards to therapy and medication management, helping people to get antidepressants, helping with their anxiety through therapy, just helping this mental health crisis that our country is still going through today, even now. And I was just so excited. I didn't care if I was working in a prison or out in the community. I was just excited to just start making an impact on people's lives and on this mental health crisis that we're still going through. And with a prison, prisons are, it's just very different in regards to just your everyday routines of things. So, like, for example, one of the things that stood out to me is just being able to go into the prison. Everything that we take for granted, like when we go into a store or a building, like our purse, our cell phone, even our jewelry, all that has to come off before you can go into the prison because of the metal detector. And so that was something I had to get used to. I had to take off you take off your jacket, you take off your jewelry, you can't take your cell phone for obvious reasons. But that was something that I had to adjust to, and that was something I had to do every day. And being able to adjust to that, I think, took time, but over time you became used to it. But that was something that I had to learn to get used to. And one of the other things, see, I don't really like people necessarily that I don't know touching me, but that was another thing that I had to get used to, because when I was pregnant, I didn't want to go through the metal detector because I didn't know how that was going to affect my baby. Like, I literally was pregnant from day one that I accepted that position. So I was not going through the metal detector, and as an alternative, they had to pat me down every day. So that was something that I had to adjust to as well. So I was pregnant. Nobody knew because, just the first few 3-4 months, you really don't show. You don't really show until like 5, 6, 7 months. And that was a very fun time for me, honestly, because the prisoners loved seeing my pregnant belly. They loved it. They were always saying like good things about how you're going to be such a good mom, and oh, I'm so excited for you. This is really good. Your life's going to change for the better. Like it was a lot of positive feedback from the prisoners that I really liked it. I enjoyed it. And so, yes. Now, let's talk about like a day-to-day responsibilities and a day-to-day routine and type of the flow of my job when it came to working as a nurse practitioner in the correctional setting. So yep, I would get through the bubble after being pat down and things. Then I would go to my office. I had an office down the hall. I had a schedule of inmates. Typically, I would see between 10 to 15, maybe even 20 inmates per day. And for a psychiatric evaluation, I was given 1 hour to complete the psychiatric evaluation, and that includes the assessment as well as the documentation that goes along with the assessment. And then for follow ups, meaning they've already been established with their diagnosis as well as their treatment plan, but now they're just here for a follow up appointment, those were given 30 minutes for me to see the client, see the inmate, and then also for my documentation as well. And so it was off to the races. You check your emails first to make sure there were like no major changes in the flow of the prison or security warning or any policy updates that I needed to be aware of. And then after that, then I would start, my clients would start coming to me. And so another thing that actually I had to get used to was being in the same room with an inmate. Now let's think about this because these women are here because they committed a crime. And some of these crimes are very violent. And some of these crimes were even murder. And me being a pregnant woman in the same room in a close vicinity of someone who may have murdered someone, robbed, killed, fraud, violent assault, battery, anything. It was all there. And these women were capable and they did it. And they were in prison for what they did. But me, I'm this far away from you and I'm pregnant. I really can't defend myself if you or the client or the inmate decided to attack me or retaliate against me. And so, yeah, it was something I had to get used to. At first, I was really nervous. The first few clients that I had that I knew were murderers, like my heart started beating and I felt really uncomfortable being in a room with them by myself. But over time, I learned that the people in prison, they're people and they made a mistake. That mistake does not define who they are. Even if it's a horrific crime such as murder or assault, that does not define who they are for the rest of their life. And as I became more comfortable and I became less afraid of being in the same room as someone who did commit a crime such as that, it didn't affect me anymore because it's almost like I became conditioned to it and it didn't bother me. And after I started becoming more comfortable with everybody and everything, I started to really get into the groove of it. And I feel like I really made a big impact on a lot of these prisoners' lives. I got a lot of good feedback from them. They said that they really liked the care that I provided. They said that the medication was helping with their depression, with their anxiety, with their OCD tendencies, with their hallucinations, whatever the case was. I got a lot of positive feedback about the medication management that I was managing for these inmates and also for the therapy. They really liked me as a therapist as well. So yeah, that was what it was like. And I enjoyed it. I also did evaluations for new inmates just coming into prison. So I was the provider, the nurse practitioner who did the first psychiatric evaluation for them if it was recommended by the social worker that they needed to have medication management on board. So then I would do their evaluation and then resume or initiate treatment for them as well as appropriate. Okay, and then the last thing that I did want to touch on was in regards to the importance of pay negotiation as a new nurse practitioner. why you should never take the first offer. So, because there's always room for negotiation. A company is always going to give you the lowest offer to see if you will accept it, but never accept it. Always counter and always ask for more because they may honor that and they may give you more, which is really what you're worth. So don't be afraid to counter. Don't be afraid to ask for what you're really worth. Because if you really think about it, there is still a mental health crisis in this country, even today. And as psych nurse practitioners, we are a part of the answer to this issue. So know your worth and don't be afraid to negotiate your pay. We're worth it. We're worth it, and we're a big part of the solution here in this country. And yeah, I mean those are the biggest takeaways that I had in regards to my experience as with my first position. I am going to be posting more videos, so be on the lookout for my next video. And if you like this video, guys, you already know, comment, like, and subscribe. It really helps me. And also check out the description below because I have a link to a project that I'm working on and I would love for you guys to support it. So check it out and I will see you on the next video. Take care. Bye.